welcome to Classified Captures. Steve here, and today we've got a shocking lineup of clips ranging from strange UFO sightings to clips of cryptids we never even thought could exist. So keep it tuned here, guys, and we hope you enjoy this episode. Let's take it away. As always, we start today's episode with a weird one. Take a good look at this clip and see if you'd notice anything strange. And no, it's not the road sign that looks like a person from afar. Did you perchance notice anything? If you did, well, you're observant, but if you didn't, I've got you. Let's move the clip by a few seconds to, yup. That's it. At this point in the clip, a hand shows up touching the windscreen for a few seconds before disappearing. Typically, some members of my team are quick to call this a hoax, but they hesitated this time. The reason? It's raining and the vehicle is moving at a significant pace. It'll be hard to keep someone on top of the car while moving in the rain at such speeds. Some members of the community felt it might be a localized spirit or being in the area. The individual was driving while some think the whole thing is a hoax. Yes, I've got my opinion on this as well, but this is something I'd want to hear your thoughts on, so can you share? While you do that, we go back to California, where the fires are once more, and frankly speaking, disturbing details come to light. Currently, tens of thousands remain evacuated with over 40,000 acres burnt. These may sound like figures to you, but to everyone who's lived there, it's their life. That makes what I'm about to say even more disturbing. Information comes to light suggesting that these fires were no accident and could have actually been planned. First of all, many residents in the area had their life insurance canceled by the insurers a few weeks prior to these fires. This will make it practically impossible for anyone to make a claim and rebuild their lives again. Secondly, the fire hydrants in the Palisades and other areas had actually run dry because the reservoir supposed to be holding 170 million gallons of water also shut down some few months prior to the incident for maintenance. The funny thing is, the fire service was never informed. This string of incidences has led many to believe that there's no way this whole thing could have been a coincidence. This situation isn't helped by this clip circulating of the governor that shows him in a giddy state while talking about the Smart Homes initiative we mentioned in our last video.
I was just talking to Josh Green, the governor of down in Hawaii, who had some ideas around some land use concerns he has around speculators coming in, buying up properties and the like. So we're already working with our legal teams to move those things forward. And
people are pointing to that video and stating that his demeanor definitely shows that the government knows something about the fires. Could Southern California have really been raised down to set the Smart Home Initiative in motion, or are people just being emotional about everything? Let's hear your thoughts on this one.
I was just talking to Josh Green, the governor of down in Hawaii, who had some ideas around some land use concerns he has around speculators coming in, buying up properties and the like. So we're already working with our legal teams to move those things.
What do you think this is? Just in case it wasn't clear already, I'm referring to the blue light in the sky that appears to be dropping down to the earth. The clip was captured by a construction worker named Mario while working on site one evening. It was the first time he had seen it and was surprised by it. He uploaded it online, hoping someone would have answers for him. As expected, the paranormal community picked this up, but opinions were divided. Some thought it was a meteor, whereas others were sure it was a spacecraft, specifically an alien ship. Aaron thinks it's one of these two, but you've seen it, so what do you think? When it comes to UFO and UAP sightings, we've seen and heard a lot in the past year alone, including the indirect confirmation we had at Congress last year. As big as those were, there's apparently another reportedly coming soon, which is going to be bigger. How, you ask? Well, information reaching our sources indicates that the United States might have actually retrieved alien bodies from one of these crafts, and they intend to announce it.
What is that? It's green.
Obviously, we don't have all the information, but once a disclosure like that is made, there's no going back. If our sources are right, and they usually are, we have to wonder, why are they willing to share this information? Is there something coming that they're preparing us for? I guess we'll have to wait to find out.
Followed by another orb right there. Can't really explain what it is. I'm gonna check on the tracker though. So one's blinking in the very back. They sound like military helicopters.
Some property owners recently shared this intriguing footage captured on one of their property's trail cams, and it's causing quite a stir online. The footage shows a creature moving across the frame with a striking resemblance to Bigfoot. Completely covered in fur from head to toe, it walks upright on two legs with its head slightly lowered and its arms swinging naturally by its sides. Now, as always with sightings like this, opinions are divided. Some are convinced this is the legendary Bigfoot, others dismiss it as just a person in a costume trying to keep the myth alive. What do you see when you watch the clip? Where were you on the 14th of January 2025? Scratch that. Were you somewhere you could observe the moon on that day? If the answer is no, then pay attention to these two clips. The first one was captured in Tennessee. While the moon looks beautiful in the clip, that's not where the focus is. There appears to be something beneath the moon. Pay attention, you should see it has a much brighter orange hue than the moon does.
There is something right under the moon. Okay, there, you see that? There is an object under the moon.
Oh my god, I think it's an astronaut!
Guys, that's not normal. I've never seen that before.
The individual recording is with his kids, and they can even be heard describing the thing beneath the moon as an astronaut. While that sounds interesting, I doubt we could see an astronaut near the moon with our naked eye. If you're tempted to dismiss the clip as one of those things, you might want to look at this second one from Mexico.
Banda, ¿alguien nos puede decir qué es ese puntito que está al lado de la luna? ¿Qué será? ¿Qué será? Ay.
Does it not look similar? With the Mexican clip, the object is further away, but it still looks the same. The fact that they were all captured on the same day doesn't make a case for this being true. If I'm being sincere, however, I never noticed anything different with my moon on the 14th, but that could just be me. Did any of you notice anything weird happening with the moon on the 14th? Can you share your experience?
Oh my god, I think it's an astronaut!
Guys, that's not normal. I've never seen that before.
A man decided to visit his old school, which was now closed and abandoned. He went there evening time, exploring the desolate halls up to the attic. As he carefully navigated the eerie stillness, something unexpected happened. Just as he rounded a corner and entered a room, a figure moved, quickly walking away. Take another look. Right there. Did you see it? Let's slow down the footage to get a better look. Now, pay close attention. Right here, it appears as though whatever it was got up from the ground and walked off. We don't know much about the school's history before it shut down, but abandoned places like this often have a reputation for housing strange entities after being left untouched for years. So what could this figure be? This video was captured by a man out in Kentucky on what seemed like a regular bright day. Suddenly, he began hearing strange noises, but they weren't coming from the sky or any nearby machinery. Instead, the sounds were emanating from beneath the ground. Take a look and listen closely.
There's something under the ground, and it sounds like it's about to bust out.
As he moves the camera toward the ground, you can hear the unsettling noise. There were no signs of construction work or activity in the area that could explain it. This has sparked plenty of speculation, with some suggesting it might be evidence of secret underground tunneling happening beneath the surface. But for what purpose? What could be going on beneath Kentucky?
It's over here in the field.
Still on the strange sounds, a woman from Kansas shared this intriguing video. She'd gone into a barn when she noticed something unusual. The metal bars were vibrating as though something underground was causing the entire structure to shake. This incident draws an eerie parallel to the strange underground noises reported in Kentucky. Could these events be connected? Are there secret systems or tunnels being constructed below our feet? It's hard to say, but there are some who think that's the case. You've seen both clips, so what do you think? Moving on from strange sounds in the ground to sounds in the sky.
Oh my God.
We've got this clip captured by a woman in Pennsylvania depicting something strange in the sky at night. It looks like a drone with bright lights, but that doesn't make it any less mysterious, as what truly caught her attention wasn't the lights, but the sound from the object. The noise resembled that of massive propellers echoing loudly despite the craft being quite distant. What's even more intriguing is how similar this sound is to the strange noises people have reported hearing from the sky in recent years. While many speculate that eerie sky sounds could be alien-related, this footage raises another possibility. Could this be human-made craft, and are they responsible for these unexplained noises? Hard to say, but looking at this, I think I may need your opinions.
Do that, Oprah did.
Yeah, Oprah did it. All right, so here, we're gonna rub it right in.
How come it's red?
I'll show you in a sec, Steve. But so it's made from human foreskin. I'm sorry, Steve.
How far would you go to look young? Before you answer, allow me to tell you how far the rich and powerful will go. Now, beauty trends have been a part of our human history. While it's evolved over time, trends involving the rich and powerful always tend to look, satanic and ritualistic. Take this scene from Steve Harvey's TV show where he's been given something to apply to his face. Can you guess what it is? Well, it turns out it's made from human foreskin. Weird, right? I know what you're thinking. Maybe it's an isolated incident. Well, believe me, I wish it were, but it's not. Here's Sandra Bullock on The Ellen Show with something similar. This one is a bit more specific. It's from a Korean baby's foreskin, and yes, they apply it to their skins, including their faces. As disturbing as this sounds, it's not the only bizarre thing they do. There's also a procedure where they take blood from a person's arm, take the platelets from the blood, and then inject it into their faces. This use of blood didn't start today, however. They've always used the blood of the healthy and strong to keep themselves young. At least that's what they believe. Recently, some have been on the news for injecting blood from healthy young teens as a way of achieving immortality. Frankly, this scares me. In the beginning, I asked how far you would go. Did your answer look anything like this?
Okay, let's talk about this facial that you're obsessed with. That
it is an extraction from a piece of skin that came from a young person far, far away, and they somehow figured out how to extract.
It's foreskin from a Korean baby. That's what it is.
Just in case you were wondering what this is, it's Waldo, the advanced surveillance system concept often associated with military or intelligence operations. It typically refers to a highly sophisticated system that integrates artificial intelligence, facial recognition, and real-time data processing to monitor and track individuals or objects across large areas. The name Waldo is sometimes metaphorically derived from the game Where's Waldo, emphasizing its ability to locate specific individuals in crowded or complex environments. The Waldo surveillance system, like similar advanced technologies, integrates AI, real-time data processing, facial recognition, and predictive analytics to monitor and track individuals, often for public safety or military purposes. While it offers benefits like crime prevention, search and rescue, and national security, it raises significant ethical concerns. These include privacy erosion, potential misuse by authoritarian regimes, racial and gender biases in AI, and the chilling effect on freedoms of expression and assembly. To put it in perspective, Waldo can extract vast amounts of information by linking facial recognition to databases, tracking cell phones via GPS, Wi-Fi, or cell towers, and even intercepting communications or metadata like call logs and texting habits. They can analyze behavior patterns, predict future movements, and map social networks to cross-referencing interactions. Scary, right? To balance its utility and ethics, strong regulations, transparency, bias mitigation, and strict data protection are essential, ensuring it serves society without infringing on fundamental rights. Let's take a look at this peculiar footage. A woman in China stepped out of her home one foggy morning and decided to film the misty surroundings. As she panned a camera across the sky, she caught something unusual. This bright patch in the cloudy sky. This wasn't just an ordinary clearing. The brightness appeared almost as if it was emanating from something hidden behind the clouds. The rest of the sky was overcast except for that strange glowing patch. Most people are saying that this could be evidence of something extraterrestrial. While strange occurrences in the sky are often associated with the US, it seems other parts of the world are experiencing their own mysteries. What say you? First of all, would you buy something like this? According to the seller, the chair is haunted, and as you can see, they're even willing to give it away for free. The chair isn't, however, the only thing we've seen being sold like this. At least the chair is free, the others are not. We've come across haunted dolls, demon-attached pendants, and even complete houses being sold and advertised as being haunted. As creepy as that sounds, we've been trying to establish a bit of truth. Can spirits really bind to objects? If they can, how? Some think it's through possession, whereas others feel it's emotional attachment from their past lives. Sometimes they die while holding onto the object they are said to possess. When it comes to houses, the general thinking is that they become stuck with it. You know how we mentioned souls that have been killed or lost their lives tragically in places and become troubled spirits there? Yeah, something like that. But then again, all these are theories. We don't actually have proof that that's the case. But what do you guys think, though? Is it something that's possible? Growing up, did you ever hear anything about the GATE program? If you didn't, it is basically the gifted and talented education that was designed to identify and support students with exceptional abilities or talents in areas like academics, arts, leadership, or creativity. At least that's what I thought until I heard this lady.
The GATE program was actually run by the CIA, and because they did it in elementary schools, most people assumed that they meant gifted and talented, like you may be gifted at reading or talented at math. That's not what they meant, babe. They meant, do you have a gift? Are you talented at psychic ability? First of all, what they were looking for was people to serve in the military, and they were looking for somebody that was good at a specific psychic ability called psychometry.
According to her, she got a job as a psychic in the Navy through this program. If we're to believe her, then there's certainly more to the program than we know. According to her, it was common for the CIA to test students in the 1990s for psychic abilities. She, for instance, was discovered in elementary school, and she claims the CIA preferred elementary school students because their parents usually had fewer questions and felt their children were being tested on academic grounds. Well, that was definitely not the case. They were looking for people to serve in the military, and when it came to psychic abilities, there was a specific one they wanted, which was psychometry. This is the ability to gain information about people or objects through touch. She particularly had the ability to read and feel the energy of mechanical objects and tell where they were broken. When she shared a story, many were intrigued, while some made fun of her and spoke about their own time in the X-Men. Now, I haven't done the research on this, but what do you guys think? Could this actually be a thing, or does this lady need a hospital? Let's hear your thoughts.
The ability to read the energy of objects. If anybody's followed my page for long enough, somewhere on there is a video that says, I was a psychic in the Navy, but it doesn't work the way you think it works. I actually can feel the energy of mechanical objects, and I can tell you where they're broken. That is what the GATE program was looking for.
This intriguing footage comes from a body cam recorded during a routine police stop at night. The man involved, identified as Joe Collian, was asked to perform a sobriety test, which later revealed he wasn't intoxicated but instead had a disability. However, this revelation isn't the most striking part of the video. In the background, something peculiar unfolds. In the darkness, a shadowy figure darts across the scene at an incredible speed. It's almost too quick to catch, but if you pause and focus, you can see it. A fleeting, humanoid form moving unnaturally fast. No one seems to know what it is, but one thing's for sure, it's not human. At least that's what the community thinks. What say you? Let's revisit this intriguing event from 2013. A couple went hiking in Mission, British Columbia, when they captured something astonishing on camera. While overlooking the forest, they spotted a massive creature moving below. It wasn't just its size that caught their attention, it was the way it walked. The creature moved on two legs with proportions that didn't resemble a bear or any other known wildlife in the area. When you take a closer look at the footage, it's hard not to draw comparisons to the legendary Bigfoot. Its gait, size, and upright posture seem to match the descriptions we've heard over the years. To be honest, this is one of the most convincing pieces of evidence of Bigfoot, don't you think? A family traveling through Quebec, Canada, had an unexpected and eerie encounter on the roadside. They spotted a large moose grazing peacefully near the trees, but as they watched, their attention shifted to something more unsettling among the foliage. In the shadows behind the moose, they noticed a pale humanoid figure crouching low to the ground. It seemed fixated on the moose, its movements slow and deliberate, almost as if it was stalking. However, this creature didn't resemble a typical predator. Its gaunt, otherworldly appearance resembled the infamous rake. The footage left the family disturbed as the pale figure moved closer to the moose. Unlike a lot of rake footage, something tells me this is not a hoax. Am I becoming sentimental, or are we onto something?
Are those shooting stars? What are those?
Look up, everybody, look up!
This video from Turks and Caicos captures a breathtaking and mysterious scene. In the night sky, glowing orbs with shimmering trails were spotted moving gracefully, resembling a string of celestial lights. The orbs appeared almost too surreal, like something straight out of a sci-fi movie. Yet, as stunned onlookers watched and recorded, it became clear this was happening in real life. In the background of the footage, you can hear people reacting in awe and disbelief, speculating about what they're witnessing. Some have suggested it could be meteor showers due to the glowing trails, while others believe it might have been something more extraordinary, like an extraterrestrial phenomenon or an unexplained atmospheric event. Multiple clips from different angles confirm that this was not a hoax. So what do you think this glowing spectacle was?
Look up, everybody, look up!
This chilling story comes from a ranch in Utah where locals reported hearing unsettling screams resembling a woman's voice echoing through the area. Determined to investigate, a man went out with his camera in 2004 only to capture something truly unnerving. In the grainy footage, he spotted a creature moving on all fours in the field. At first glance, it seemed like an animal, and then it did something that sent shivers down his spine. The creature rose on its two legs and stretched its neck to look directly at him, its movement eerily human-like. This terrified the man so much that he fled the scene. Many who have seen the footage speculate that this might be a skinwalker. These beings mimic human forms and voices to lure unsuspecting victims. While some dismiss the video as a hoax or misidentified animal behavior, others believe it's a skinwalker. Someone in the comments section of the original post did share a unique view, however. He mentions that many animals are capable of briefly standing on their hind legs, and this is what might have been going on with this creature. But what do you think?
Está sin pila y empezó a funcionar cuando lo empecé a tocar, ¿cierto?
A group of visitors at a cemetery went to honor their loved ones when they stumbled upon this. It's a toy horse on one of the memorials, and to their surprise, it was making galloping sounds and neighing. The man behind the camera picked up the toy and turned it over, only to discover it had no batteries inside. A toy functioning without batteries is eerie enough, but the fact that this happened in a cemetery makes it even more eerie. Could this be a case of a possessed object, perhaps influenced by the energy of the departed? While skeptics argue there's a logical explanation, the setting and circumstances make it hard to dismiss. What do you think?
Está sin pila. Y empieza a funcionar cuando lo empieza a tocar. ¿Cierto?
As the global waste crisis intensifies, innovative solutions are emerging to address the challenges of disposal and recycling. One such solution comes from Japan, where used diapers are being recycled to create toilet paper. While it may sound unconventional and even questionable at first, the process behind this initiative aims to ensure hygiene and sustainability. The diapers undergo thorough sanitation, shredding, and processing before being transformed into toilet rolls known as shibushi osaki rolls. The idea is to repurpose a challenging waste material into something useful, reducing landfill contributions and promoting eco-conscious practices. What are your thoughts, and would you try it?
What are you doing?
Some locals in Malaysia were enjoying a day at the beach when they noticed something unusual in the ocean near the horizon. It was something moving at an incredibly fast pace across the water. The movement was so swift and unusual that it was difficult to identify the shape or nature of the object. While fish can be fast swimmers, this speed seemed to defy what you'd expect from typical marine life, leaving witnesses baffled. Some members of the community even mentioned this, so it could be a marine creature or something entirely unexplained.
What are you doing?
This intriguing photo, taken in 2005 by a backpacker in the Silver Star Mountains, shows a bipedal figure at a distance. The man, initially believing he saw a neighbor, snapped a picture to capture the moment. Upon closer inspection, the figure appears to have broad shoulders and a build that suggests it could be covered in dark fur. Due to the distance, the details are unclear, but it undeniably resembles the classic silhouette associated with Bigfoot sightings. Interestingly, the backpacker himself refrained from making any grand claims about encountering Bigfoot, simply stating that it was something unusual. However, those familiar with Bigfoot lore are positive that this is the creature. This unusual incident from Belém, Brazil seems to suggest that a world-ending fart might indeed be a thing. In this bizarre story, passengers aboard a bus could be seen leaving in apparent distress, and one unfortunate woman even fainted. The cause? Someone let out a fart so potent that it brought the ride to an abrupt halt. The driver, realizing the situation was untenable, had to stop the bus and evacuate everyone. While the identity of the culprit remains a mystery, one can't help but wonder what they might have eaten before boarding. It's certainly an amusing situation, but next time you want to fart, please think about the people around you before you have people passing out. A homeowner was at work when he received a notification about movement in his house. Checking the live feed, he saw a cat standing at the door. Now, here's the weird part. He doesn't own a cat and the house was fully locked, so he reviewed the footage and guess what? The cat literally appeared out of thin air. So clearly this is no ordinary cat. cats have long been linked to the supernatural, often seen as protectors or omens, both good and bad. So, could it be spiritual or just a hoax? Let's take a closer look at this intriguing piece of footage that allegedly shows a Bigfoot moving through a snowy landscape. Although the video is quite shaky, you can clearly see the creature moving through the snow that reaches up to its knees. Notice how effortlessly it walks. This is impossible for a human dressed in a costume. This footage, known as the Snow Walker footage, was originally recorded in 1992 but surfaced to the public in 1996 as part of a comprehensive Bigfoot documentary. While many skeptics claim that this footage is staged or manipulated, some believe it is genuine. What are your thoughts? A man attending church decided to film the pastor's sermon. As he panned his camera toward a picture of Mary displayed on the church wall, something unusual happened. Captured on video was a small white human-like figure walking across the frame in front of the picture. It was quick, almost ghostly, and seemed to vanish just as mysteriously as it appeared. Now, here's where the debate begins. Many viewers are skeptical, calling it a hoax, pointing out the coincidences of the camera panning at just the right time to catch the figure. Others believe it could be something supernatural, a divine sign or a spirit making its presence known. What do you think? A man was jolted awake in the middle of the night by his dog howling loudly, which was unlike his dog. So he checked his security footage to see what might have triggered the commotion. What he saw was unsettling. In the darkness, a robed figure appeared, gliding eerily across his yard toward the corner of the house. The figure seemed to have a ghostly aura, and the robe it wore flowed as though caught in a strong breeze despite the stillness of the night. It's well known the animals, especially dogs, have heightened senses and are believed to perceive things humans cannot. This howling, which the man heard clearly in the footage, is often associated with the presence of spirits or otherworldly entities. The question is, what was this spectral figure?
That's a hiker.
No, it's not, bro. That's not a person.
That's way bigger than a hiker, bro.
Bro, that's not. Oh, it just disappeared. What the? Bro.
A group of friends noticed some unusual motion on a nearby mountain slope while hanging out at a home. Upon closer look, they saw what appeared to be a large humanoid figure walking steadily up the mountain. But just as they tried to make sense of it, the figure vanished into thin air. At first they assumed it was just a hiker making their way up the slope, but the sudden disappearance left them baffled. While the idea of something supernatural or otherworldly is intriguing, let's be honest, this footage screams fake. The vanishing act looks like it was edited. In fact, Julius walked in and said, "I know an Adobe edit when I see one." Either way, what do you think?
That's way bigger than a fucking hiker, bro.
Bro, that's not. Oh, it just disappeared. What the? Nope.
A subscriber shared this eerie footage, claiming it was captured during a late-night walk home. He spotted what he thought was a bunny on the other side of a fence across the street. So he pulled out his phone, turned on the flashlight, and began filming as the bunny started to run. But then, out of nowhere, this bunny suddenly lifted off the ground and flew into the darkness. Take a closer look again. Now, how is this even possible? A rabbit taking flight is unheard of, yet here it is, defying the laws of nature. What's your take on this one? This peculiar image dates back to 2010 and was taken by a man in Vermont with his wife. Their home was near a sparsely populated wooded area. They had been hearing strange noises from the forest close to their property. Adding to the mystery, something had been eating their apples, so to find the culprit, he set up a trail camera by the apple tree, and this is the baffling result. The image is blurry and indistinct, making it hard to determine what exactly was caught on camera. However, some viewers have speculated that it might depict a mother Bigfoot with a young one clinging to her chest. While that's one of the more popular theories, others believe it could simply be an animal captured at an odd angle. Personally, I find it difficult to discern any clear details, but what do you see?
I hear somebody talking. Somebody's talking.
This footage comes from a man who decided to explore an abandoned tunnel on his own. After wandering through several pathways, he eventually found one that led him down to a set of stairs into a damp, eerie space filled with a murky green water. The entire place was falling apart with rusty walls, crumbling structures, a real underground maze. As he went further in, strange noises began echoing around him. Curious and a little uneasy, he set his camera down to capture what was happening, and that's when he saw it. A humanoid figure roaming through the shadows. He'd hear a sound, and then silence. At one point he even started hearing faint noises, but no one was there. Toward the end of his exploration, he spotted someone holding a flashlight at the far end of the tunnel. Then, to his shock, he heard gunshots echoing through the space. That was his signal to get out of there and fast.
I hear somebody talking. Somebody's talking.
I don't know, but I feel one of you here is about to buy a house. Consider this another eerie reminder of why it's always wise to know the history of a house before buying it. A Hungarian couple had just moved into their new home when strange, unsettling things started to happen. In this clip, their surveillance camera catches their dog barking at what seems to be empty air. But if you look closely, you'll see faint, shadowy figures hovering in the room for a few seconds. Then, the dog suddenly bolts out, and almost immediately, a chair slides away from the table as if pulled by an unseen force. In another clip, things get even creepier. The couple is jolted awake in the middle of the night by a loud banging noise from the bathroom. When they get up to investigate, they cautiously pull back the shower curtain, only to find nothing. It seems their new home may not be so new after all. Something else may be residing there with them. I have investigated Bigfoots for years and didn't know they had a sense of humor. That was at least until I saw this footage. This footage was recorded by a hiker who was walking through the woods when she felt uneasy. You know, the kind you have when there are eyes on you. For evidence sake, she took out her phone and started filming, but she didn't see anything around her. A few seconds later, something or someone crept out from behind a tree to look at her and then rush back again. Then it popped right behind another tree and looked at her, and then hid again. This stalker had features that resembled a Bigfoot. Whether it was playing peekaboo with her, we can't tell, but from the lady's reaction, you can tell she was freaked out by it. I mean, well, I would be too, but what do you guys think of the whole thing? Should everything unusual we see have a paranormal explanation? I mean, I want it to, but should it? Take, for instance, this woman who was sitting in the living room with her child on the sofa. I guess the weather was hot because she had a standing fan on blast. Not long after, the fan begins to move back and forth. The woman gets scared and starts to run out of there with her baby. But why did she run? For me, what I just saw was a faulty fan. Perhaps the mechanism for navigating the fan's head back and forth is spoiled, but it seems this woman thought there was some kind of ghost haunting her or something. Or perhaps there's more to the occurrence than the footage tells us. What do you think? Have you heard the name Dolores Cannon? She was a hypnotist who had an interesting ideology. She was a renowned hypnotherapist, past life regressionist, and author who developed a unique method of hypnosis known as the Quantum Healing Hypnosis Technique, or QHHT for short. She spent over 50 years working in the field and wrote several books based on the information she gathered from her clients under hypnosis. One of her most notable theories involved the concept of souls coming together to form the population on Earth, arriving in what she called 3 waves of volunteers. According to Cannon, the first wave of volunteers are souls who initially found it difficult to adjust to life on Earth. They often felt uncomfortable and struggled with the violence and negativity in the world. The second wave are souls who were more comfortable here and often work as healers or spread positive energy through their very presence. The third wave are the newest souls, often children with advanced abilities and a higher level of consciousness, here to help the Earth transition into a new era. Another fascinating aspect of her work was her sessions with clients under deep hypnosis. Many of these clients would recall past lives, sometimes in great detail. Through these regressions, Cannon explored themes such as reincarnation, karma, and the soul's journey. She documented many of these sessions in her books, providing a unique perspective on human existence and the nature of reality. What do you think of this?
The young people are already there. Their DNA is already where it's supposed to be when they come in. They're so advanced. They're there already. That's the third wave. The gift of the world are these children.
The sun is not up there, so where's the light coming from? So the light came from the rocket? It's getting brighter too, like it's a portal into us or something. That's what it looks like.
A family was out at night enjoying a quiet evening when they took this astonishing footage of the sky. There was a mesmerizing blue light piercing through the clouds, casting an ethereal glow. It looked as though it was coming from a light source hidden behind the clouds. However, the sun had set a while ago, leaving everyone puzzled about the origin of this mysterious light. There are numerous natural phenomena that could potentially explain this, such as atmospheric refraction, electrical storms, or even rare auroras. Yet in this age of unexplained occurrences and advanced technology, it's hard to say for sure if this is purely a natural phenomenon. What if there is some sort of life form responsible for this? Could this blue light be an indication of extraterrestrial activity or advanced technology at work?
The sun is not up there, so where's the light coming from? So the light came from the rocket?
Let's take a deep dive into a particularly intriguing tale of a cryptid encounter where a trail camera played a pivotal role in capturing an enigmatic and unusual figure. The image depicts a creature with a body that appears eerily human, yet its head is a stark contrast, resembling that of a canine, and it even boasts a tail. This cryptid discovery raises a plethora of questions. Could this strange figure be a result of some unusual genetic mutation or a rare natural occurrence that has managed to remain hidden in plain sight for centuries? Or does it represent something even more perplexing, perhaps an entity beyond our current understanding of the natural world? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. Up in the sky, high above the clouds, a chopper rider had a jaw-dropping encounter with a peculiar craft. This thing was no ordinary aircraft. It was circular in shape and zipping through the sky at a blistering speed. It was a sight to behold, and it left everyone on board the chopper scratching their heads in wonder. Now, when faced with such an inexplicable sight, the mind starts racing with possibilities. Is it some kind of advanced drone executing a top-secret mission? Could it be a satellite orbiting high above? Or does this fit the classic description of a UFO, an unidentified flying object? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. A man had set out one night outside on one side of the road that was filled with a lot of people on both sides of the road, mostly men. It seems something is going on because the place is noisy. As he was panning his camera across the bustling road, just as he does, two large trucks drive by side. One has a massive container while the other hauls an unknown load. But as these trucks pass, something incredibly strange happens. From between the two trucks, a man suddenly appears. It's as if he materializes out of thin air right there in the narrow space where no one could realistically fit, not even a child. The road is far too narrow for someone to stand there safely, especially with two trucks passing by so closely. Yet, there he is. Witnesses who saw the footage were baffled. Some believe this could be the sighting of a ghost. Others think it might be something even stranger, like a glitch in the Matrix. What do you think?
At first I was confused about what I was seeing, and I just started looking at it, trying to figure out if it was dust or a bug or what have you, and it just started looking more and more like a hand.
A woman had put her baby down to sleep in his crib, keeping a monitor on to check on him. She wasn't asleep yet herself and kept glancing at the screen to make sure he was all right. That's when she noticed something unusual. There was a shiny orb right above the baby's head. As he turned his head to the other side, the orb moved with him. But what was strange was that it seemed to change shape, forming something that almost looked like a ghostly hand hovering above him. Seeing this, she wasn't as surprised as one might think. Her husband had passed away when their baby was just 4 months old, never having the chance to meet his son as he was very sick and in the hospital. She believed this could be her husband making a gentle visit to their baby boy, watching over him from beyond. What do you think? Could this orb really be her late husband's spirit, or is there another explanation?
At first I was confused about what I was seeing, and I just started looking at it, trying to figure out if it was dust or a bug or what have you, and it just started looking more and more like a hand.
Can Bigfoots talk? Well, there are some who believe they can, and others who believe they can only make unintelligible sounds.
What is that? Hear that?
Irrespective of which you subscribe to, someone sent this footage in saying the sounds were made by a Bigfoot. What do you think? The footage was taken in the woods. The individual who sent them in started to record when he heard the strange sounds you're hearing coming from the woods. The sounds sound like a mixture of howls, barks, screams, and grunts. There are records of these same types of vocalizations coming from other Bigfoot hotspots, which has led many to conclude that Bigfoots are the ones who make these vocalizations. What do you think? Is the theory true, or is this just a bunch of creatures excited for the mating season?
What is that?
Have you ever heard of the Glimmermen? They're said to be these transparent-looking creatures that blend into their surroundings. They're typically found in woods, but thanks to their glimmering qualities, they can hardly be spotted. Did you see that? Some sort of invisible entity moving right there, and just as quickly as it came, it was gone. This footage was captured back in 2014 by a group of Bigfoot researchers. They'd set out to explore the woodland of Washington when one of them noticed something rather odd. There on the ground, there was an invisible creature that appeared and disappeared as quickly as it had appeared. Fortunately for the team, and rather unfortunately for the Glimmerman, their camera was rolling and it had already been captured. We are unsure of how the other Glimmermen will respond to him exposing their kind, but we're sort of grateful. A part of me is already sold on the footage, but I have to ask, do you guys think we're dealing with the real thing, or are these campers trying to get their 5 minutes of fame? Have you ever heard about secret government missions that send soldiers to retrieve unidentified aerial phenomenon, UAPs, that crash on Earth? Sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie, right? But here's the kicker. The same government that allegedly conducts these missions also refuses to admit that UAPs exist. Even more intriguing, they're supposedly setting people up all over social media to discredit such claims. Yeah, that's wild. Listen to this and tell me what you think.
They don't want the public to know that there really is a crash retrieval program and that we are monitoring UAP in our airspace and water space. We can't control their actions and we don't fully understand their intentions. That's a dangerous thing to leak to the public, and so they are deliberately falsifying it and exploiting people, making them appear as wackos, thus creating a stigma behind the whole scene, which has prevented serious scientific study.
The disinformation is just to discredit whoever is...
Yeah, and it's happening overtly today. That office is doing it. There are individuals who I will not name, who I believe are getting paid. Every day they get out online, and their number one job is to discredit these national authorities. People like Lou Elizondo, who was with the task force, the UAP task force. He is 100% who he says he is, and what he says he's seen and knows, I have total confidence in. He's an active target.
One of the few people brave enough to speak up about these things is a man called Luis Elizondo. He's a former Pentagon official who led the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, or AATIP for short. Elizondo has been quite vocal about the existence of UAPs and has even hinted at these secret retrieval missions. He believes there's much more to the story than what the public is being told. It's a fascinating and somewhat unsettling topic. If these missions are real, what are they finding? Why the secrecy? And what does it mean for our understanding of the universe and our place in it? I'd love to hear what you think about this.
We can't control their actions, and we don't fully understand their intentions. That's a dangerous thing to leak to the public, and so they are deliberately falsifying it and exploiting people, making them appear as wackos, thus creating a stigma behind the whole scene, which has prevented serious scientific study.
A wood-craft survivalist in the UK once built a wooden shelter in the woods for camping, but came back the next day to find it dismantled. Initially, he thought it was the work of kids or vandals, so he set up a trail camera in the area to catch whoever was responsible.
There's a figure at night time that's in the right-hand side of, I believe it's camera 6. Starts off, comes out of the woodland, and then all of a sudden it seems to trigger the camera again, but whoever it is shouldn't be there. They haven't got permission to be there. It's only me. I've phoned the landowner Chris.
What he found, however, left him both excited and shocked. In the dead of the night, the camera captured a dark figure moving among the trees. The creature was bipedal, and its structure suggested it was quite large. Once he saw the creature, he had his own theories, but he uploaded it online to see what others would say. Some thought it was a person moving around in the dark, while others believed it had to be our favorite big guy, Bigfoot. Being the Bigfoot enthusiast that he is, he'd already concluded that there was a high possibility that the being was Bigfoot. He just needed to confirm, and the fact that some thought it was the big guy himself was enough proof for him. You guys have seen the clip. What do you think we're dealing with here?
There's a figure at night time that's in the right hand side of, I believe it's camera 6. Starts off, comes out of the woodland, and then all of a sudden it seems to trigger the camera again. But whoever it is shouldn't be there.
Do you remember that mountain shaped like a sleeping woman from the movie Moana? Well, it's a real mountain in Alaska called Mount Susitna. Nature is very mysterious as it is fun and beautiful. In this video, we can see footage taken over a mountain that's shaped like a woman, but this is not the real deal. It's just a digital creation of the original. Isn't it fascinating how far technology has come? Just look at how real our movies look with CGI. It's still terrifying to think about what other things we may have come across that are not real, but rather digitally made. There are times when situations leave us baffled with lots of questions, and one such situation is this. A Swedish YouTuber called Ellen, whose niche was true crime, was once filming in the woods in the middle of the night when she captured something rather odd on her camera. It was a creature with a small head and a pair of glowing eyes. The creature poked its head from behind a large tree and then vanished. Ellen was naturally spooked by what she saw, and I don't blame her. I mean, the creature didn't look human, nor did it look like an animal, except for its glowing eyes. Some of her followers suggested it might be a nocturnal animal, but the last time I checked, animals don't have hair that long unless they were a lion or a horse with a mane. Clearly, this thing looked nothing like either one of them. So what could it have been? Let's dive into two eerie pieces of footage captured by different people at unknown locations, showing something massive and unexplainable behind the clouds. In the first video, a man noticed an odd shape lurking behind a large cloud. At first, it looks like an ordinary part of the blue sky, but the top of this object is curved, almost dome-like, while the rest seems to be hidden behind the cloud. It gives the strange impression that something is cloaked in the sky. The second clip is taken by a woman during sunset. It shows something even more dramatic. Against the bright orange horizon, there's a massive curved shape, larger than the first sighting. Bright flashes seem to illuminate the area, briefly highlighting what appears to be a dome-like sky. What could these shapes be? Are they just oddly shaped clouds, or is there something much larger and more mysterious hidden up there? Aaron thinks something extraterrestrial may be at play here. What say you?
Oh my. Do you hear that? Is that happening for you too?
It turns out even superstars aren't safe from eerie encounters. Check out this clip from Taylor Swift's concert when something strange happens. She's seated at the piano, hands off the keys, when suddenly it begins to play on its own. You can see her hands in the air and she's visibly unsettled, looking around in confusion. Could this be the work of a super fan from the other side wanting to join in, or maybe just a technical glitch at the worst possible moment?
I didn't play that, so that means that... Oh my...
Meet the Sega Antelope. Looks odd and weird, doesn't it? Like something straight out of a Chinese mythical story. Its strange-looking nose definitely has something to do with the situation. After all, its most distinctive feature is its large bulbous nose. This unusual nose serves several purposes. It helps filter and warm the cold air during the winter, humidify dry air during the summer, and filter out dust and sand in their arid habitat. The nose also acts as a resonator, producing unique nasal sounds during mating rituals and communication. This adaptation is a remarkable example of how animals have evolved to survive in their specific environments. Saiga antelopes are primarily found in specific regions of Eurasia such as Russia, Kazakhstan, Mongolia, Turkmenistan, and Uzbekistan. They love to inhabit semi-arid grasslands, steepy regions, and deserts of Eurasia. So do tell me, do you find its odd-looking nose unique and cool, or does it give you the heebie-jeebies? Late-night surprises are often the stuff of nightmares, and here's a chilling tale of an uninvited guest that left someone far from pleased. As the homeowner looks through the glass window, they were met with a spine-tingling sight. There, just outside the house, lurked a massive dark figure. It stood tall at an astounding 7 feet, and its entire form was shrouded in a cloak of black fur. The creature's presence was ominous, blending seamlessly with the surrounding darkness, with only a pair of hauntingly glowing eyes giving it away. Now, the homeowner is convinced that this could be none other than the elusive Bigfoot, or perhaps the legendary Dogman. These cryptids have long been the subject of fascination and debate, with some claiming to have encountered them. But one question remains: is this a real-life encounter with a cryptid creature, or a simple case of mistaken identity in the dark, or perhaps even an elaborate prank? Share your thoughts with us. A group of friends decided to go on an adventure deep into the woods one night. The thrill of exploring the unknown had them excited, but as they ventured further, an unsettling feeling began to creep over them. It was as if something was watching them, lurking just out of sight.
What the fuck is that?
One of the guys, feeling particularly uneasy, pulled out his phone and started to scan the surroundings with the flashlight on. That's when he saw it. In the darkness, there stood a massive figure, towering and menacing, staring directly at them. The sheer size of the creature was enough to send chills down their spines. As soon as the creature realized it had been spotted, however, it quickly ducked behind some nearby bushes. The footage is very blurry, so we cannot make out the creature well, but the boys described the creature as having the proportions of a Bigfoot, large, hairy, and with an unmistakable presence. The sighting was brief, but it left them all shaken. Was it really a Bigfoot, or could it have been something else entirely? Personally, I'm not buying it, but please do share your thoughts.
What the fuck is that?
It feels like shit, Mitch.
Wild, right? If you're anything like me, you're probably wondering how he's still alive, and the answer is simple: science, or insulation, depending on how you interpret things. Electricity is one of the most important resources in this modern world, but as important as it is, it's also dangerous. This video right here shows an electrical lineman working with a high-voltage power line. From the clip, we can only see his hands and arms, and that's enough to give us an idea of how he's still alive. He's wearing gloves and protective gear. Although he's working with super high voltage, his special gear keeps him insulated. The tiny sparks we see are only there because of tiny bits of electricity jumping between the wire and the lineman's body, like a small electric tug-of-war happening really fast, maybe 60 times a second. As cool as they look, you won't survive interacting with them without special gear, so stay away from electricity or enjoy it from afar, like we're doing with this clip.
It feels like shit, Mitch.
There are glitches in the Matrix that seem fake and almost unreal. But what about this one? While driving over an overpass, someone spotted an aeroplane just above the overpass in the sky. Now, what could be so special about this aeroplane, you may ask? This aircraft was stuck in the air, and even after the car passed the overpass to the other side, the plane was still stuck there. When experts inspected the footage, they said the footage was legit. Some people reported seeing the same thing. Unless you're telling me that there is traffic in the sky or planes get stuck in mid-air when out of fuel, this is a Matrix glitch. What do you think? A drone was flying over a forest when it spotted something moving below. It moved with huge strides, covering more ground than a regular human could. As the drone zeroes in for a closer look, its pilot is convinced that it has to be none other than the legendary Bigfoot. It was covered in brown fur and ticked everything on the Bigfoot checklist. If we know anything about Bigfoots, we know that they're elusive, and this creature managed to slip away, hidden by the forest it calls home. What do you think, though? Is this the real thing, or are we only seeing what we want to see?
What the fuck is that?
No, what's...
Run!
Guys, wait!
A group of friends went camping, enjoying the outdoors, and settled into their tents for the night. One of them had a camera ready to record, capturing the calm night scene. Suddenly, his tent mate burst out of the tent yelling, "Run!" Without asking questions, he bolted out of the tent, joining the rest of his friends who had already started running. When he finally reached a safe distance, he looked back, and this is what he saw. Inside one of the tents was a creature, crouched on all fours. It certainly didn't seem human, but if it wasn't, then what on earth was it?
What the fuck is that?
No, what's...
Run!
Guys, wait!
Richtig. Richtig. Sie können gerne versuchen mitzuspielen, meine Damen und Herren. Richtig. Richtig.
You know that spot the difference game? The one when you've given two nearly identical images except for a tiny change somewhere and you have to find it. It's a game that can get intense, especially when the images are full of colorful details and busy characters. Well, there's this little girl who's an absolute genius at it. Watch her as she finds each difference in a blink of an eye without even the most challenging, trickiest images. She barely takes a second, and there she is, pointing out the subtle detail that's different. Meanwhile, most of us would still be scanning both pictures, scratching our heads. How does she do it? Could it be a super sharp eye for detail, or maybe some kind of natural talent for pattern recognition? Well, it turns out it's thanks to a technique called stereopsis training. This method involves the use of stereograms or cross-eyed images, improves binocular vision by teaching both eyes to work together for depth perception. Originally, the young girl, Mara, underwent this vision therapy to address convergence insufficiency, a condition affecting her ability to focus on nearby objects. Through the therapy, her brain adapted, enhancing her visual perception and allowing her to process complex images with impressive speed and accuracy, demonstrating the power of neuroplasty. Impressive, huh?
Richtig. Yep.
Still on near-death experiences, take a look at this footage that was taken by a passenger on a plane that had lost its wheels mid-flight. It was a United Airlines flight that had taken off from Los Angeles Airport. The footage shows a view through the windows, and everything outside looks surprisingly smooth. As the camera panned around the cabin, you could see that most passengers were calm, though a few were chanting, "Brace, brace, brace." Despite the terrifying situation, the pilots and crew managed the crisis expertly. The plane even landed safely without any incidents or casualties, an incredible testament to the skill and competence of the crew. Even though it ended well, it was undoubtedly a scary situation for everyone on board. A scenario like this would certainly test anyone's nerves. Next, we've got some captivating footage from a home security camera in Mexico that caught something extraordinary on a stormy night. It's evident from the clip that the camera is positioned outside a house, providing an elevated view of the surroundings. The night is alive with the flashes of lightning and the rumble of thunder, creating a dramatic backdrop for what's about to happen. You can also see the sea in the distance. Suddenly, out of the darkness, a light appears. It moves steadily from the horizon towards the land. You can even see its reflection shimmering on the surface of the sea. A second look at the light, and you can tell it's some sort of craft, despite being so far away in the dark. No human crafts move the way this appears to move, and not many human crafts have this much light emanating from it. This leaves one possibility of an alien spacecraft. But is that even possible? Well, Aaron, our conspiracy theorist, and hundreds of others who believe in the paranormal believe that's the case. What say you? Death can be incredibly painful, knowing we won't see or hear from the people we love ever again. But what if there was a way to still connect with them?
Sona, please hold tight.
Hey Justin, I'm so very glad you called me today.
I wanted to wish you a happy birthday and tell you I love you.
Baby, I love you too.
Meet Justin Harrison, a tech entrepreneur who lost his mother in 2022. In his grief, he developed an AI that recreates her voice and personality, allowing him to talk to her almost as if it's on a phone call. With her unique voice, mannerisms, and even personal quirks captured, this AI brings a piece of her back to his life. While it doesn't replace having her there physically, it offers him a sense of comfort. Being able to hear someone even after they're gone is comforting. Would you try something like this?
Sona, please hold tight.
Hey Justin, I'm so very glad you called me today.
I wanted to wish you a happy birthday and tell you I love you.
Baby, I love you too.
We're not alone. We are not alone in this universe, and it is a simple fact, and the U.S. government has been aware of that fact now for decades.
It's not exactly a new topic that the government might know a lot more about alien life than it's letting on. Some believe they've been making contact or have technology from extraterrestrial sources. Take a look at what this whistleblower has to say. This man claims that the US possesses alien technology and perhaps even the beings themselves, suggesting they might be experimenting with them or studying their advanced knowledge. And he's not the first to make such allegations. Over the years, countless whistleblowers have stepped forward insisting there's a hidden truth about extraterrestrials that the government isn't sharing with the public. Could this be real evidence of government secrecy on alien life, or are these stories simply the stuff of conspiracy?
We're not alone. We are not alone in this universe, and it is a simple fact, and the U.S. government has been aware of that fact now for decades.
This woman was driving across a bridge, just going about her everyday business. Everything seemed perfectly normal until out of nowhere a car from the incoming lane hits her truck and she suddenly veers off the road. Her dash cam captures every terrifying moment. Given she's driving a semi, she goes through the steel rails like it was butter, which leaves a car teetering dangerously on the edge. The hood of a car flies off from the impact, and the vehicle dangles halfway over the edge of a bridge. It's a close call. I mean, she was literally seconds away from disaster. You can almost feel the adrenaline and fear she must have felt in that moment. It's like one of those scenes where you can't help but hold your breath, hoping for a miracle. It's chilling to think about how differently things could have ended. She was lucky to escape this near-death experience without having met death. Not many can say that. Humans have come up with countless explanations for a lot of things, but death remains a profound enigma. No one really knows what happens after we're gone, or if we even truly are gone.
Look, guys, gone in 2021.
Wait.
It's a wild guess why, but
Look,
we're running
binary codes.
binary codes here, guys, off the thing.
Get away from me.
Guys, we're right here at the cemetery, and this person was gone in 2023, and we're collecting binary codes. We have both of our phones on airplane mode, so it collects no binary codes at all. But when you get close to her grave, look, you had a number right there. Get close. Look, 2022, guys. Binary codes up the ass right there.
These men are no different and decided to visit the graveyard to run what I would call a little experiment. They had a device that could detect data and present it in binary code. With this device, they decided to approach graves and see if they would pick up anything. When they approached the grave of someone who had died in 2021, the device started presenting binary codes which were supposed to be coming from the grave. They tried the same thing on another grave, dated 2023, and the device again read codes as soon as it got closer to the grave. Is this evidence that the dead are not as silent as we once thought? They did believe so, and that's what they were trying to communicate. But individuals under their post had a different take. This user, for instance, believes that they were recording data from the graphene rather than the individuals in the grave. Julius isn't here to teach us or inform us of this fact, and I also couldn't find anything online when I did my research. If there is an expert amongst you who can explain what's going on here, please do so in the comments section. I would pin your comment when I see it so we could all learn. Until that comment comes, what do you guys think? Could the dead really be attempting to make contact, or are we just recording data from the natural environment like these users said?
Look, 2022, guys. Binary codes up the ass right there. There's information coming out of the graves, guys.
En el pilastrón. ¿Qué? En el pilastrón. En el pilastrón está él, güey. Ay, cabrón. Ahí está. No mames, güey. Lo estoy viendo, güey. Bestia. ¿Es él? No, ¿o es sombra, güey? Se está moviendo, güey. ¿Es una sombra? Es él, güey. ¡Ah, la verga, güey! ¡No mames! Ah.
Recently, this particular video has been going everywhere. I have watched it several times and have my theories. Since it's been a while since I asked you guys for your opinion on a post, let's do this one together. I won't be providing this commentary, but I would very much love to hear what you think about it. What do you see? Why do you see it? And what do you think it could mean? Let's get creative in the comments section.
Viendo, güey. Bestia. ¿Es él? ¿O es sombra, güey? Se está moviendo, güey. ¿Es una sombra? Es él, güey. ¡Ah, la verga, güey! ¡No mames! Ah.
For the longest time, we hear scientists warning us about global warming, saying that the Earth is going to get hotter and hotter. But I guess nature has a sense of humor. Take a look at these hailstorms, ice falling from the sky. We're talking about hailstones the size of golf balls or even larger, wreaking havoc on everything in their path. Cars get dented, windows are shattered, and crops are destroyed. It's like nature's way of saying, "Think you have me all figured out? Well, think again." What's even more puzzling is that these hailstorms often occur during the warmer months. Just when we think we should be enjoying summer sun, we get pelted by ice from above. How does this align with the narrative of a warming planet? I mean, if the atmosphere is supposed to be getting hotter, shouldn't we have warm water falling down to us and not solid chilled ice? Well, it turns out there's a science explaining it. Hailstorms occur during warmer months because thunderstorms driven by warm, moist air rising and creating strong updrafts can lift moisture to altitudes where it freezes and forms hail. Global warming increases the energy and moisture in the atmosphere, potentially intensifying these thunderstorms and making hail more likely. Despite the overall trend of rising temperatures, local weather variability still allows for cold upper atmospheric conditions necessary for hail formation. Thus, hailstorms are consistent with a warming planet, demonstrating the complex and dynamic nature of climate change. I know the last part was a bit complex, but science is always complex when Julius is away. I miss that guy.
Why is you looking at me sideways? Why is you coming at me sideways? Do I know you from somewhere? What's up with you?
A man was walking home one night when this stray cat approached him. As you can see, the cat's head is unnaturally twisted sideways. Despite this, it appeared fine and started to walk toward the man. It cried out to him, and as it got closer, its cries became more unsettling, almost as if it were trying to communicate something. The man, feeling a mix of fear and curiosity, kept his distance. I mean, if I were him out at night and a kitty cat came to me in this state, I would keep my distance too. The way the cat moved, combined with its unnaturally twisted neck, gave it an almost otherworldly presence. Aaron, our in-house conspiracy theorist for those new to this platform, is convinced without reasonable doubt that this cat is a skinwalker. I wanted to believe this too, but someone made a profound statement in the comments section of the original post. He suggested that the cat's twisted neck is a birth defect, not anything supernatural. Once I read the comment, I wondered why that never came to me in the first place. Anyway, what do you guys think it is? A bad skinwalker transformation or a cat with a birth defect? Share your thoughts and, if possible, experiences. I will be reading.
Why is you looking at me sideways? Why is you coming at me sideways? Do I know you from somewhere? What's up with you?
Esto como de luz pasando, pero no se graba muy bien y luego después sale, se para ahí y como que se convierte en un señor, mira. Y se queda ahí, ahí todavía está corriendo el reloj de grabando, mira, se mira como...
In August 2024, a CCTV camera in an empty field recorded something that left many people questioning what they just witnessed. The footage shows an orb glowing softly, drifting over a patch of grassland. It moves almost as if it has a purpose before coming to a complete stop. But what happens next is even more unsettling. Slowly, the light begins to shift, stretching and reshaping until it takes on the figure of a person. As the image becomes clearer, we see what looks like a man dressed in white pants and a shirt, his hair dark. He stands there, eerily still, as though waiting for something. Then, with a sudden movement, he turns around, but as he does, his form distorts, and within moments, the figure dissolves, reshaping back into the glowing orb and floats away in the same direction it arrived. Could this strange sighting be linked to the mysterious orbs people have been reporting in various places? Are these orbs more than just lights, possibly shape-shifting entities watching us, moving among us unseen? Share your thoughts.
Esto como de luz pasando, pero no se graba muy bien y luego después sale, se para ahí y como que se convierte en un señor, mira. Y se queda ahí, ahí todavía está corriendo el reloj de grabando, mira, se mira como...
A man was walking home late at night and decided to take a shortcut through a bridge in the middle of the woods. As he climbed onto the bridge, he began to feel uneasy, like someone was watching him. Trying to shake the feeling, he pulled out his camera and started filming, panning around to see if he could catch anything unusual. When he looked down, there was a face staring up at him. It was a grotesque red face with matted black hair watching him intently. Just as he spotted it, the figure quickly disappeared into the darkness, leaving him rattled. Some people are speculating that it could be a witch or spirit, but others are puzzled by the red, bright face. Could it be some other type of entity, or is there a different reason for its disturbing appearance? What do you think he encountered that night? In 2020, a Facebook user by the name of Shanique Legacy, who lives in Florida, went live and shared a disturbing experience with his followers. He believed that a dog man was lurking around his house and terrorizing his family. This still image taken from his live video captures a blurry yet unsettling figure emerging from the trees. The image shows a creature with dog-like ears and one of its eyes reflecting light, giving it an eerie glow. The snout is very evident, and the creature seems to be looking directly into the camera. According to Shanique, the creature has been spotted several times around his property, often late at night. It will make strange noises, scratch at doors, and move quickly through the shadows, leaving the family in a constant state of anxiety. Despite setting up cameras and motion detectors, they could never get a clear image or understanding of what they were dealing with until this live broadcast. Once they saw the image, they believed it had to be the dog man. The phenomenon of the dog man is not entirely new. There have been numerous reports and alleged sightings of such creatures across different parts of the United States. They're often described as a large bipedal wolf-like creature with a human-like posture. Shanique's live video quickly went viral, garnering attention from both believers and skeptics. Some viewers were convinced that the image captured a genuine cryptid, while others argued it was a case of mistaken identity or even a hoax. What do you think, though? Not just about Shanique's story, but about Dogman in general. We've got a mind-blowing video sent in by one of our subscribers that you absolutely need to see. Let's dive into it. In this video, you see a man in a hoodie standing right in front of the camera. Everything seems normal at first, but then out of nowhere, something bizarre happens. The man suddenly gets sucked up into the sky until he completely disappears from view. Check it out into slow motion. It's just unbelievable. Look at that. Some people are saying this is an alien abduction. I've heard plenty of abduction stories, but this one is wild. The way the man is pulled up so quickly and vanishes without a trace is truly eerie. But here's the thing, it looks very unreal. While I'm not here to debunk alien abductions, this footage looks more like it's been edited, don't you think? Have you ever heard of people emitting electricity? No? Well, this couple shared a video that has everyone talking.
Every time we touch, we shock each other. Okay, ready? We're gonna kiss. This happened the very first time. It hurt so bad. It just hurts your lips really bad. Wait, hold on. I'm not mentally prepared. Love you.
Oh my god.
Dude, you touched me.
That was
every single time we touched.
They went out to a grocery store together, and suddenly they noticed something strange. Every time they touched, there was a small zap. They even tried kissing, and you can actually hear a faint zapping sound. This kept happening every time they made contact. The couple had left their house together with nothing out of the ordinary. This bizarre electric spark between them continued until, eventually, when they tried to shake hands one last time, it stopped. After that, they were able to continue their day without any more shocks. Can anyone explain what was going on?
Every time we touch, we shock each other. Okay, ready? We're gonna kiss. This happened the very first time. It hurt so bad. It just hurts your lips really bad. Okay, wait, hold on. I'm not mentally prepared. Love you.
Oh my god.
Just do it here. Touch me.
That was a little
Every single time we touch.
The implant in my ear is it'll turn on during the interview, and you'll be talking to me and to them.
You don't have an implant. You're pulling my leg.
No, I'm not telling you the truth. You don't know about it? You never read the books?
I read Communion.
Oh, okay. You've only read Communion.
I've only read Communion.
A man named Whitley Strieber, known for his best-selling book Communion, recently shared an extraordinary experience in an interview. According to Strieber, he has an implant behind his ear placed there by extraterrestrial beings. Strieber claims this implant was put in back in 1989. He describes it as an advanced form of intelligence, something like artificial intelligence, but somehow alive. According to him, this device serves as a connection between him and these alien beings, allowing some level of communication or monitoring. Strieber also revealed something even more surprising. He claims that the CIA has taken an interest in this implant and wanted to access the device, but Strieber refused to give it to them. He went on to say that the CIA has established contact with gray aliens and that his implant holds information linking him to them directly. It's a wild story, no doubt. Is it possible there's some truth here?
Why do you think the CIA is so interested in people who have had close encounters?
Well, I think they kind of backed into it because their brief is foreign intelligence. And this is about as foreign intelligence can get.
This image dates back to the 18th century and was found in an old home. It's a tiny human-like skeleton lying on its side with delicate wings on its back. On seeing this, the only thing that comes to mind is fairies. You know, those magical creatures we all loved as kids and believed to be purely imaginary. But what if they weren't just figments of our imagination? What if the stories we heard involving them were actually real, or at least based on real beings and real situations? If you're skeptical, take a look at these skeletal remains. The bones are small, but the structure is undeniably human-like, and the wings. There are no creatures in nature that will fit into this body. It's got to be something more, something different, something ancient. It's almost as though the tales of fairies, which we thought were just whimsical stories, might have been real accounts passed down through generations. But then again, perhaps my excitement is blinding me to the truth. What do you guys think? Take a look at this dog. Something is definitely off. Just watch its movements. There's an eerie, unnatural sway as it growls, baring its teeth in a menacing way. It's not just the aggressive posture, but the almost otherworldly way it moves that has people talking. Some believe this dog might actually be a skinwalker. According to Native American folklore, a skinwalker is a shape-shifting creature often depicted as a malevolent witch capable of transforming into an animal or taking on its characteristics. The unsettling movements and behavior of this dog have fueled these suspicions, with many pointing to the folklore as a possible explanation. But what if it's something else entirely? Could it be a medical condition affecting the dog's nervous system, causing these strange movements and aggressive behavior? Neurological disorders or even rabies could potentially explain subsystems, though they would still be deeply concerning for the dog's health and safety.
That's what happened. The table just moved. What the f*** you mean the table just moved? What do you mean? I swear to God.
This footage comes from a security camera in a tattoo artist's shop, and it captures something rather unusual. The artist was setting up to work on a client when suddenly the table next to her started to move on its own. Though the table had wheels, it didn't look like she touched it or pushed it at all. The artist quickly noticed and grew alert, both she and her client looking around in confusion. But then another table in the corner also slid by itself. That was the last straw. Both women decided to make a run for it. Maybe a ghostly client wanted to book a tattoo appointment too. What do you think could have caused this?
What's wrong? What happened? The table just moved. What the f*** you mean the table just moved? What do you mean? I swear to God.
A late-night worker was outside when he spotted something unusual moving across the yard nearby. A line of small, shadowy creatures with dark, spiky-looking hair were walking one after another, disappearing around the corner of the building. They were hard to make out in the dim light, so he applied a negative filter to the footage for a better view. Take a look at the tiny figures moving together in a line. They're small, almost childlike in size, but they don't seem like animals or anything ordinary. What could these creatures be? Aaron thinks we may be dealing with duendes, but I would love to hear your thoughts as well. A deep-sea camera captured this creature in the ocean depths, which has left many baffled. This bizarre creature was a fish with the head of a boar with horns on its head. The original poster dubbed it the sea boar. This unusual sighting has piqued the curiosity of many, including myself and my team. Intrigued by the footage, we conducted extensive research, scouring scientific databases, marine biology records, and even folklore archives for any mention of such a creature. However, we found no documented evidence or references to a creature resembling this so-called sea boar. This discovery raises several intriguing possibilities. Could it be a new species that has eluded scientific classification until now? The ocean's depths are still largely unexplored, and new species are discovered regularly. This creature could be an example of deep-sea gigantism or an unknown evolutionary adaptation. Either that or it's just AI. What do you think we're looking at? If I told you I knew with certainty what this is, I'd be lying, and Julius isn't here to help, but thankfully we can still use our powers of deduction to come to an educated guess. As you can see, the individual in the clip uncovered this ancient artifact and brought out some parchments from within it. They aren't written in English, so we can't really tell what it says. For some weird reason, though, the individual burns it and goes on to keep exploring the items in this artifact. He brings out another artifact, which he cleans up and puts on as a ring. It's hard to say if it's some form of ancient ring or if he's just making wrong assumptions. Either way, the clip ends shortly after he puts it on. Naturally, this has us asking questions. Where did he go? What's the history behind those items? And why did he burn the parchment? If anyone can answer any of them from the clip alone, then please help us out in the comments section. Speaking of orbs, here's another encounter that leaves us with even more questions.
Watch this.
Mírala, 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 mírala. Mira esa luz de ahí, ¿sí la estás viendo? La luz. ¿Sí la miras la luz o solo la miro yo?
Two women were out in the wilderness when they noticed something hovering just a few feet ahead. Suspended in the air, glowing with an intense light, was a bright orb completely still. The women were so taken aback by its presence that they froze, keeping their distance as they filmed it. They didn't dare go any closer, perhaps fearing that what they might find if they did. Unlike the previous footage of the orb that transformed into a human-like figure, this one stayed exactly as it was. So, what's different here? Could it be that not all orbs have the ability to shift forms, or are there different types of these mysterious lights, each with their own purpose? And if this one isn't a shapeshifter, what else could it be? So many questions, yet not many answers. But can you help?
Watch this.
Mírala, 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 mírala. Mira esa luz de ahí, ¿sí la estás viendo? La luz. ¿Sí la miras la luz o solo la miro yo?
A woman was walking home one night, taking a shortcut through a wooded area. Partway down the path, she began to feel that familiar chill, as though something or someone was watching her. To ease her nerves, she pulled out a camera and began filming her surroundings. As the camera panned across the trees, it captured a shadowy figure lurking behind a tree to the left. The figure was pitch black with eerily glowing eyes. The woman did not hesitate when she saw it. She turned and sprinted out of there as fast as she could. Now, many people believe this could be a shadow person, while others think it's a skinwalker. But you've seen the clip, so what do you think it is? This footage was taken by a man who had noticed something moving in his house. He had security cameras installed and would occasionally check the live feed on his phone while he was away to ensure everything was okay. During one of these routine checks, he noticed something strange. There on the live feed was a ghostly orb, a white smoke-like entity floating around the room. It moved slowly and almost deliberately, weaving in and out of the furniture as if it were exploring the space. Intrigued and a bit unsettled, he hurried home, and right before he entered the house, watching the feed again, the entity was still there, floating eerily. But as soon as he entered the house, it vanished without a trace, no sign of it anywhere. He checked every room, corner, and crevice, but there was nothing unusual. The entity was gone, leaving him with only the haunting footage and a sense of unease. This is so weird. The entity just vanished. Was it a ghost, a spirit, or something else entirely? What do you think happened? Back in January of this year, 2024, a Trailcam owner set up a camera in the woodlands of Alberta. They were responding to reports of wolves in the area and hoped to catch a glimpse of them. What they captured, however, is something you have to see to believe. In the Trailcam capture, you can see a path flanked by thick bushes on both sides. Now pay close attention to the left side of the screen. About 3 feet from the camera, a buck's head briefly emerges from behind the brush before quickly retreating. But that's not the most intriguing part. On the opposite side, something truly extraordinary happens. Emerging from the brush, you can see a bipedal creature that stands about 7 to 8 feet tall. It moves stealthily, blending in with its surroundings. It's easy to miss, camouflaged so well among the trees and leaves. But if you look closely, it's clear that this is no ordinary human. The bulging muscles and massive legs are enough to confirm this being is built differently. The Trailcam owner is even convinced that what we are seeing is the big guy himself, Bigfoot. And honestly, it's hard to argue with that assessment given its sheer size and the way it moves. But then again, maybe these are just the words of a longtime Bigfoot enthusiast. So for objectivity's sake, what do you guys think is going on here? The US presidential election season is often full of buzz, but this year, one incident at one of Kamala Harris's rallies has really caught people's attention. During her speech, a keen observer spotted something unusual in the crowd. Behind her stood a man who seemed to be staring intently at her when, suddenly, his eyes appeared to turn completely white. Though the footage is a bit blurry, the camera zoomed in on him, and for a brief moment, it looked as if his eyes had lost all color. Then, just as suddenly, they returned to normal. This eerie moment has sparked a lot of online chatter, with some calling him a demon or suggesting there might be something otherworldly about it. What do you think? Could it just be a trick of the camera or something more mysterious? Let us hear your thoughts. Now, let's dive into some groundbreaking tech news. Google has reportedly announced plans to build 7 nuclear reactors by 2035. These reactors are projected to be powerful enough to supply energy to an entire city. But what's even more intriguing is why they're building them. Google plans to use this energy to fuel its future AI technologies. Think about it, we're less than a decade and a half away from a world where tech companies could be running their own nuclear-powered facilities just to keep up with the energy demands of AI. This might sound like the stuff of science fiction, but it's quickly become our reality. If Google plans go forward, it's only a matter of time before we see a future powered by AI and nuclear energy, transforming the way we think about technology and energy forever. I don't think I can say this enough, but humans can be very weird, scary, and dangerous. This video was taken by a man back in 2011. One night, he woke up and noticed something incredibly strange. There was a man standing by his house staring right at his bedroom window. The man was wearing a black hoodie with the hood pulled over his head, obscuring his face. He stood there for more than an hour just staring at the bedroom window, completely aloof. Naturally, the scared homeowner called the police, but unfortunately, they didn't show up. You'd think that once morning came, this eerie encounter would be over, right? Well, no. This strange man kept coming back, and it went on for months. The homeowner and his partner were too frightened to confront the mysterious figure, so they left the place. Now, we don't know what's happened after they left the house or if the man ever stopped coming. What would you have done in their position? Also, why do you think he was just standing there night after night, just staring at their window? Am I not the only one who sees a face of a person with wings around it, right? At least that's what I initially thought when I saw this. After taking a second and third look, it became apparent that this was a bird, and not just any bird at that, an owl. If you haven't seen any one of these critters in real life, you may doubt it. I know your inner thoughts a screaming human chicken, but that's a very large owl with its wings spread out. So no conspiracy here. Nothing to see, just an owl being defensive. A home ring camera picked up something truly strange in someone's backyard. In the dead of night, a person can be seen moving away from the house, walking directly toward the fence. But here's the eerie part. This figure does not stop, it just glides right through the wooden fence as if it isn't even there. You can see the shadow of this person passing in front of the light, so it seems real enough. It even looks like a man in a cap. But that ability to move effortlessly through solid wood, well, that's definitely not something we'd call human. So what's going on here? Are we seeing some kind of superhuman ability, or is this figure a ghostly presence caught on film? Here's yet another terrifying clip the couple shed from their unsettling new home. In this footage, the woman was home alone with their dog when she heard a loud banging noise coming from downstairs. She went to check, only to find their dog standing on a door. This door is from an opening above the stairwell in the wall, located just below the ceiling. What's creepy about this is that they had tried to open that door before, but it seemed securely sealed. Now it had somehow come loose on its own. And as if that wasn't disturbing enough, one of her husband's shoes was sitting right beside the opening in the wall, as though placed there intentionally. Understandably freaked out, the woman decided to back away and wait for her husband to get home. Looks like the couple are in for a ride with whatever is in there with them. Next, we've got another Trailcam footage that has left people with a lot of questions. This comes from a Trailcam owner who recently retrieved his device from the woods and was greatly disturbed by what he found. Let's take a look at this eerie footage. In the video, we see a little girl emerging from the depths of the woods. She has shiny blonde hair and is wearing a long white robe. As she gets closer, she pauses, squatting for a moment while looking back. It's almost as though she's checking to see if someone or something is following her. Then she stands up and starts walking quickly, eventually disappearing from view. But here is where things get even more unsettling. Soon after the little girl is out of sight, another figure appears coming from the same direction. This being is also dressed in a white robe, but it looks more like a mature woman with long black hair. Unlike the girl, this figure is crawling on the ground, heading in the same direction the girl went. The footage is downright creepy. Who were these two figures? Why was the girl out there in the woods alone? And who or what was this crawling woman? Could the girl have been running from this terrifying figure? This drone footage shows something very bizarre. From an island, a beam of light shoots into the sky toward the mainland. The scene is surreal, almost like something out of a sci-fi movie. Alien enthusiasts believe that such lights are often associated with UFO sightings and extraterrestrial activity. They argue that the light could be a beacon or a portal, something beyond our current technological capabilities. On the other hand, some think it could be a part of a covert military experiment. Military bases and testing sites are often located in remote areas away from prying eyes. The beam could be related to advanced weaponry or a high-energy experiment. Governments around the world have long been suspected of hiding advanced technology from the public, and this footage could be evidence of such activities. What do you think? During a road trip, a woman decided to pull over and take a break. She parked her car and walked a few steps away when she noticed something unusual on the ground. It looked like a thick black substance, almost like engine oil. At first, she thought a car might be leaking, but then something strange happened. The dark, oily-looking substance started to shift, almost like it was alive. It moved across the ground in a way that didn't seem natural at all. Could it have been some kind of strange living matter, or maybe an unknown type of liquid reacting to the environment? A man was out hunting in the woods, listening carefully for the sound of movement when he heard some leaves rustling. He thought he had finally spotted his game, but what he saw instead was far more unsettling. Above a bush, there was a blurry, almost transparent shape. It looked as though something was trying to camouflage itself, blending in with the surroundings. Despite its attempt to remain hidden, you could still make out its presence. What could this be? A cloaked alien, some kind of advanced military technology, or something else entirely? I guess we will never really know. Imagine taking a walk one day and coming across something like this in the sky. What's the first thing that would come to your mind? Aliens? Drones? An impending doom to your world? Well, if you thought any of these things, you aren't alone. This was uploaded on one of the paranormal platforms we belong to by someone whose daily activities were disrupted by the appearance of this thing in the sky. And no, they didn't attack him or try to abduct him or anything like that. Instead, seeing this in the sky and not knowing what he was looking at left him feeling uneasy. If he was the only one seeing it, he might have concluded he ate too much, but that's not the case. Others in the vicinity could see it too, and for some funny reason, the media said nothing about it, and it didn't go anywhere when they tried to make it go viral on social media. This left them feeling suspicious and a little unsure of themselves. Were they just being paranoid, or were the authorities aware of this and trying to keep it quiet? I'll leave that to you guys to decide. Humans often discuss the pressing crisis of climate change and environmental degradation, yet we overlook how our actions are continually exacerbating these issues. This scene, for example, shows a once pristine mountain area now buried under heaps of trash and even human waste. Despite the efforts of individuals in protective suits working to clean up the mess, the task is daunting, especially in such a remote and challenging environment. Shockingly, this location is none other than Mount Everest. Once revered as the crown jewel of nature, it's now become a glaring symbol of human neglect. Visitors and climbers leave behind litter as if the natural beauty of this iconic peak holds no value, transforming it into what looks like a refuse dump instead of a majestic wonder. So, while humans fight for survival against crisis, we're often the creators of the very dangers we face. How can we protect the Earth if we keep treating it like this? And with that, we end today's episode. Thank you for staying with us. Before you go, are there clips and videos you think we should have featured by now that we haven't? Well, the good news is you can share them with us and we'll post them crediting you. Please send any such footage, including ones you recorded yourself, to us via classifiedcaptures@gmail.com. We'll do our thing and include it in our next episode. We can't wait to receive what you have. Share this video with someone you love. See you in the next one.